This is David with the Paranormal Sessions podcast. I just want to give an update to everyone. A few days ago, I went ahead and I was ready to go to sleep, and I connected to the other side. And lately, I hadn't been seeing anything, which was I'm happy about that. So a few days ago, I'm ready to go to bed, and I almost forgot about it. So I went ahead and closed my eyes and connected to the other side. And I saw some, I don't remember ever seeing anything like that before. As soon as I connected to the other side, I see all these evil spirits like moving around. There had to be at least 3 or 4 of them, which, I've seen at times, I've seen like 2 evil spirits or something, but I've never seen like 3 or 4. They're all moving around. Now they're on the other side, which of course it doesn't mean that they're not going to come to my side. But I mean, as soon as I connected, it's like they came up right out of the gate, and they were running around, and it startled me for a moment, because I thought, if I saw 1 or 2, no problem. But I saw like it had to be at least 3 and probably 4. They were just shooting around, and that lasted for maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 seconds, and then they just disappeared. But they did that with the intention to try and intimidate me, to show that there's that many evil spirits, ready to come at me. And I happened to look up at the ceiling, and there wasn't any white light from the Holy Spirit. So it kind of made sense why I'm seeing more of them right now. And then last night, ready to go sleep, and I hadn't been looking at the mirror. And for the people that are new, evil spirits will use mirrors as like gateways, and some people think they're used as portals, which I'm sure that's possible. In my situation, I've only seen them use them as gateways just to move around. But I'm looking at the mirror, and I hadn't looked at it for, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or so, if I remember correctly. So I'm looking at the mirror, and the room's dimly lit, and I kind of see like something that's coming out of the mirror. But then when I try to focus more clearly, I just saw the mirror and like, the reflection of my, small aquariums and the light and all that on the ceiling. But then when I kind of pull back and not really try to concentrate, it looked like something was coming out. And I think it was a person, but it was kind of like blurry in a way. So I don't know exactly what came out of the mirror. I mean, I'm assuming it's an evil spirit, and maybe, a lot of times they'll change themselves into looking like a cryptid or anything like that to make you more, terrified or whatever. But when I would, really concentrate, then I could just see the, the regular mirror and the reflection. And then when I'd kind of pull back, then it'd come out again. So I don't know if that's something new, or they were just trying to, scare me or something a little bit. And I looked up at the ceiling last night, and there was no white light from the Holy Spirit. So I assume I'm going to have something here shortly. And hopefully it's not too bad, because if it's really bad, usually I see the white light because I'm going to need some additional, help from the Holy Spirit. And the last thing I want to cover is I am going to be going over to that person's house to record or see if I can film that evil spirit that's in their house, because they mention again that, they've heard some odd noises, and then they've heard like people walking on the roof, and besides the rocking chairs that would rock in unison. So I'm probably going to go this weekend, or possibly not until like Monday, depending on their schedule. But then I'll go ahead and upload that. I'll probably have to do it in 2 parts, because when I film, it's probably going to be, and I don't like to edit really, because people say, well, you were faking this or faking that. That way, if I just show the whole thing, you can see there's no, jump cuts or anything. They show like I'm trying to, fake something. I'll just run the whole thing, and of course you can skip through a lot of it if you want, because it might be nothing to see, but hopefully I'll catch something on film. And I did find some other film that I had in the past, and for like I said, for those people who are new, I'm not that good at editing. I'm getting a little bit better, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to upload the whole thing, and then that way I'll tell you if you go to this timestamp or that timestamp, you'll see something. Because I've seen a lot of other investigators, so to speak, and they'll have, right before something happens, there's a jump cut, which means they cut it and then they started right when the activity, which I'm sure it's possible, but when you start seeing people that are always doing jump cuts right before something happens, then you tend to believe that maybe that's not legitimate, because why wouldn't they just let the camera keep filming when something happens? Why do they have to jump cut and then start a whole new cut, and then that's when everything happens? And I don't want to do that, because I don't ever want to be accused like, I'm faking this or faking that. So I decided I'm just going to upload the whole thing, and I'll tell you, like, if you want to watch the whole thing, that's great, but if you don't, I can understand that. I'll say, this is where I start seeing, something or whatever. But I thought that's the best way. It's, you can decide how much you want to watch, but that way it's from beginning to end, and there's no cuts in there. So that way they can't come back and say, well, you did a cut here, so now this might come into question if you actually saw something. So if I just have it continuously running, people might complain it's too long, which I can live with that. But I don't ever want anyone to come back and say, well, this looks suspicious because you had a cut here or a cut there. And I figured this way, if I just put up the whole thing, if you want to watch the whole thing, that's great. But at least you know that there's no cuts during the whole time. And that way, whatever you've seen is legitimate. All right. So I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks.